Hello, blessed and beloved jewelry community. Welcome to this Indian 3D jewelry earrings tutorial. India is one of the countries with the most amazing jewelry manufacturing and jewelry design traditions. It's an honor for me to have many followers from India. So let's dive right into this tutorial. In the front view, I'm going to start by adding a plane to the view. Now let's go to edit mode. Let's select the two bottom vertices and join at center. Now select everything with A, W for the menu, and we're going to subdivide 3 times. Now I'm going to select the side vertices and scale. Then I'm going to select the center vertices and scale again. Here. Now we're going to select everything with A, and we're going to extrude slightly and scale to make a slight bevel. Then we're going to extrude again and again, and this time we're going to scale down, extrude, scale. We're going to round the top because obviously this is going to be a trillion gem. You can tweak the shape and proportions later if needed. Here by example, I'm going to select everything and scale on the x-axis to give a better proportion to my triangle. Let's go out of edit mode and call this gem trillion. Now for the modifiers, add a bevel modifier and a subdivision surface modifier, level 3. Don't forget object, shade, smooth. Now for the size, make it 8 millimeters on the x-axis and copy the scale. If you want, you can use rounded numbers for the dimensions, like this. Save and be happy. Now let's go to shading to prepare the material at once. New material, call this gem ruby, IOR 185, roughness 0.05, transmission weight 1, color ruby red. Now here, if you don't like the topology of your gem, go to modifiers, add a remesh modifier, smooth shading, set the voxel size that you like, and then add a smooth modifier to the level that suits you. I like this better. Now I'm going to reset my rounded numbers dimensions 8, 7, 3. This looks nice. Save and be happy. Now, obviously, if you want this to look like this on your computer, we need to go to World and create the environment. So this is the nodes I have for the environment. Basically, you start in World, and for the surface, you add a background node. So this connects to the world output in the shader editor. So this is what you would have at the beginning. From there, we're going to have a mix shader based on a color ramp. Then the color ramp has an HSV node to correct the colors if you want. And for the color ramp, we have a gradient texture set to quadratic sphere. The texture coordinates node is set to window. It connects to a vector mapping node, and it connects to the gradient texture. For the location of the quadratic sphere texture, you want to have minus 0.5 on X, Y, and Z. This is going to center our color ramp to the window. Then the environment itself for the reflections, I use an image. It's the Brown Photo Studio. You can find it on Polyhaven. It's very easy to find. I use it almost in every tutorial. You should know that by now. But anyway, if you're new, just Google Polyhaven. They have an HDRI gallery, and in that gallery is the Brown Photo Studio 02 HDRI. You download the file to the resolution that you want, and you bring it to this image texture node. I'm using the AXR format for the environment. So we have a coordinate texture from the generated vector to the mapping node. I have some rotation here on the vector to orientate the environment as I want. So if you want the same look, use the same rotation. 111, 57.8, 54.4 degrees. Don't forget to set the image to the cubic interpolation. It's better quality. The rest are the default settings. Then the image goes to an HSV node to correct the colors. I have lowered the saturation to 0.1. Then we have a brightness and contrast node. I have the contrast a bit higher to 0.3, and that connects to the background strength at 1. That's the default value. And these connect to a mix shader. So the mix is based on the light path node, and you can set that the camera rays are mixing the shader. Our color ramp and the environment is our image texture. And this is it for the world output. Save and be happy. Now let's go back to a layout. Front view. Now we're going to copy the gem, Shift D. Let's call this bezel. Let's go to edit mode. Here I'm going to remove the top for now. Delete vertices. Let's exit edit mode. For the modifiers, remove the remesh and smooth modifier. And then I'm going to add a solidify modifier at the beginning, thickness 0.7, and adapt the offset to the outside. I'm going to use the even thickness, and I'm going to do Control A and reset the scale. Now let's go to shading. Here we're going to create a new material. Simply duplicate the gem ruby material. Now we're going to create gold. So the base color, make it yellow gold, metallic 1, roughness stay the same at 0.05, and the transmission weight to 0. Here you can add an RGB node. I drop the color, connect it back to base color, add an HSV node to correct the tone of your gold. Then we're going to add a Voronoi texture, the distance to the normal. Here in the middle, we're going to add the bump vector, connect it to the height, tweak the scale as you wish, and the strength also. I'm going to add a texture coordinate generated to vector, and also a mapping node here at the middle, so I can make small stripes on the gold and keep adapting the scale and the strength as needed. Save and be happy. Let's go back to modeling. Top view, front view. Now here I'm going to go to edge and select the inside edges and erase these edges. From the top view, I'm going to select the bottom. Here, I'm going to extrude and scale like this. Go back to the top view, select the front, extrude on the y-axis, and scale. We get this very nice bezel. Front view, make a copy of the bezel, call that bezel plate. Go to edit mode, top view. Let's select this intermediate level, invert the selection, Control I, erase the vertices. Select everything with A. Front view, extrude, scale. Move down slightly. Extrude again, scale. Move down slightly so the plate has a nice curvature. Exit edit mode, shade, smooth. Go to edit mode, top view. Here on the sides, I'm going to make the curve stronger by scaling the vertices on the x-axis. So I get a rounder triangle on the outside. Now we're going to copy the plate, Shift D, enter, go to edit mode, select the inside vertices, delete them, select everything, scale a bit smaller to go slightly inside the plate. Now extrude, scale to the outside to give thickness to our border. Here, now select everything, go back on the y-axis, there, and extrude to the front here. Now if you want sharper corners, go to loop cut near the corner to have a very nice corner shape. Do the same wherever needed to correct the corners. Exit edit mode. Shade, smooth. Now I want a rounder border, so I'm going to remove the bevel modifier and the result is going to be much rounder. Call this bezel plate border. Save and be happy. Now I'm going to add a mesh sphere, 40 segments, 20 rings, material gold, shade, smooth, size 1.5 millimeters, I'm going to grab it here and touch the border. Now add modifier mirror on the x-axis based on the gem. Now I'm going to make linked copies, Alt D, and distribute my spheres around my shape. Zoom in to be sure you don't have unwanted gaps. Keep distributing the spheres. It's a very pleasant and easy job. Don't forget that 3D modeling is a type of meditation. On the last sphere, you can remove the mirror. Save and be happy. Now add mesh sphere, 40 segments, 20 rings, size 3 millimeters. Let's go to edit mode, zoom in, select the bottom vertices, scale them on the z-axis and move them up like this. Set the material to gem ruby, make a copy of the material and call this gem emerald. Shade smooth, set the color to emerald green. Go to edit mode, deselect everything. Start creating a border bezel like this. Select your shape, go to the spin tool and start spinning around the 3D cursor. Step 40, angle 360 degrees like this. Select the result, add a new material, select the gold and assign the material. Let's exit edit mode. Shade smooth. Set the snap to face project, align rotation to target, affect move and rotate, and turn on the snap. Go to the front view. These will be border gems. 001. Grab it and start distributing over the plate. Make a link copy, Alt D, and move to the side. Here, add a mirror modifier based on the center gem on the x-axis. Keep making link copies and distributing the gems thanks to the snap tool. Once you reach the corner, readapt the distance between the gems as needed. Finish distributing the gems at the top row. Now select one sphere at the border and make a copy. Start filling the gaps with nice little spheres. Here, this last sphere doesn't need the mirror. I will also add spheres on the inside gaps. Now select the gem, make a linked copy, turn off the snap, remove the rotation, go to edit mode, select the center vertex, do a Shift S, cursor to selected, deselect everything, and start creating a cutter shape. Here, come to the center on the X local axis. Here at the bottom also, extrude and come to 0 on the X local axis. Select this profile shape with L. With the spin tool, start creating the spin for 360 degrees. Select your new shape with L, go to materials, add yet another material and create a new material. Call it cutter and assign it to your new object. Now you can see that all the gems have this cutter in place thanks to the linked copies. Be sure that the length of the cutter is going to cut the inside plate. Exit edit mode. You can now hide this gem we've used to create the cutter. Now we're going to select all the border gems with Shift in the outliner to select the list, and we're going to make a copy of all the border gems. We're going to join them with Ctrl J and go to edit mode. We're going to deselect everything, and now we're going to select the cutter material and invert the selection. We're going to erase what we don't need and just keep the cutters. Remove all the materials and only keep the cutter material. We can call this border gems cutters. Now we can select the plate and add a Boolean modifier. We're going to use a difference with the fast solver and select the cutters. Use the diagonal on the numpad to have a look at the result. If the Boolean is failing, don't worry. Select the border gems cutters and add a remesh modifier. For the voxel size, on the remesh modifier, set a voxel size that works for you and use the smooth shading. And here on the plate, we can now see that the Boolean is clean and fully working. Now, don't forget to hide the border gems cutter, but remember that the cutter is also present on the gems as linked copies. Go to edit mode, select the cutter, delete the cutter as we don't need it anymore. Exit edit mode, save and be happy. Now front view, add curve, Bezier curve. Turn on the snap and now grab the curve so it gets over the plate like this. Go to data, resolution 45, bevel, round, depth 0.45, resolution 21, fill caps. Set the material to gold. In modifiers, add a mirror modifier on the x-axis based on the central gem. It's time to go to edit mode. So here we have the snap turned on. So the handles and the control points are going to snap to the surface of the plate. This will help us complete our decorations on the plate. Sometimes we'll have to turn off the snap to avoid conflict with other objects. We can create new points with the control key and the left mouse click button. When you create a new control point, it's important to have nothing else selected. Sometimes it's good to zoom in to make a perfect fit. Complete your decorations, exit edit mode, save and be happy. Now we're going to add small hoops, add mesh torus, 60 30 segments, major radius 1, minor radius 0.3. Set the gold material. We're going to set this hoop here with a shade smooth. This says hoop 001. Now let's make a copy. We're going to have hoops on each side. So let's add a mirror modifier on the x-axis based on the central stone. And these will have a front orientation now. Let's make linked copies, Alt D. I want some specific spacing. I'm going to add a mesh cube, dimensions 4. And I'm going to use that cube to space the hoops very precisely like this. Don't forget to organize your collection. So I'm going to create a new collection. This will be earring. Bottom part, select all the elements and drag and drop to the new collection. Let's add yet another collection, and that collection will be called umbrella. Select the bottom hoop, make a copy, and it's going to be dragged to the new umbrella collection. Change the orientation and place this hoop very precisely here. Cursor to selected, add mesh sphere, dimensions 20 millimeters, shade smooth, and set it here. This is going to be a simple sphere support. Here, before we progress in the design, this Y position is a problem. I'm going to copy that number. I'm going to unhide all the elements in the scene. Alt H. From here, I'm going to select everything with A, and I'm going to move the piece on the Y axis to the front, exactly using the copy paste of that number. So now all my elements are centered. Don't forget to hide again the elements that you don't need. Save and be happy. Add mesh plane to the view, gold material. Add a mirror modifier on the x-axis based on the hoop. Do a Control A, all transforms. Let's go to edit mode. Erase all the vertices, and with Control left mouse click, let's start a pear shape. Select the first vertex and center it on the x-axis. Then center the 3D cursor to selected. Work from the 3D cursor, select everything, and you can scale without affecting the mirror. Now let's extrude and scale. Place this here. Exit edit mode for a moment. Let's add a shrink wrap modifier. The target is the sphere. It's going to be a project on the y-axis, positive. There we can add a solidify modifier, thickness 0.8, even thickness. Then add a bevel modifier and a subdivision surface modifier, level 3. When it doesn't close properly, check the merge on the mirror and also check that you're at 0 on the x-axis in edit mode. I don't like the proportion. I'm going to tweak my design in edit mode. Then add an empty plane axis. Center the empty at 0. Call it empty umbrella maker. Good. Now on this shape, let's add an array modifier. Object offset from the empty umbrella maker. Now I need a rotation on the empty. I'm going to start at 30 degrees on the z-axis, and the count on the array will be 360 degrees divided by 30 degrees. That's 12. Obviously, that's not enough. Let's go at 15 degrees. This is great. So we'll have 24 elements. Also, if you want, in edit mode, bring the cursor back here and scale to readapt the size of the element so it perfectly fits. Save and be happy. Now, front view, add curve, Bezier curve. Let's turn the snap on. Let's go to edit mode, grab the curve. We can't see much, but let's extrude a third control point. Exit edit mode, go to data, set resolution 45. Now bevel round. Let's put a depth of 0.4. Resolution 21, fill caps, set the gold material. Now do Control A, all transforms. Add a mirror modifier on the x-axis based on the hoop. Check the merge. Now go back to edit mode. Don't forget that the snap is turned on. And we are going to design a nice, lovely shape. Here at the ending, simply extrude and make it come back on itself. So you get a nice round ending. Use as many control points as you want. Don't forget, we did all this with the snap turned on, so the shape has been projected onto the support sphere. So this needs an array modifier. The object offset is our empty umbrella maker. And let's set a count of 24, which is the same count than earlier. Here the result is very lovely. But you can also make a copy of the empty umbrella maker. The second one might have another angle, 30 degrees on the z-axis by example. So the count is going to be 12 and the new object offset is going to be the maker number 2. So you get another result. I'm going to go back to the first option. Save and be happy. Now front view, add mesh, sphere, segments 40, 20 rings. Size 1.5 millimeters. Set the gold material. Shade smooth. Shift S, cursor to selected. Add mesh plane. Align it to the view. Material gold. Let's go to edit mode. We're going to create a flower. Select the bottom vertices. Scale. Subdivide 5 times at the middle there. And subdivide the sides 3 times. Now we're going to work selecting symmetrically. So always select vertices on each side. Here I'm going to subdivide once more. Let's make a petal. Select everything, extrude and scale. Now let's make a copy of this contour. Let's scale it. Local view, Control I, invert the selection, extrude to make a border. Let's go at least at 0.6. Now invert the selection, the face we created earlier, and extrude it to the back. On this element, if you don't like the topology, select the front and back face. Make an inset with I, and it's going to be better. Check the thickness and adapt the position. If you have corners in your shape, readapt the distance between the vertices in edit mode. If it doesn't work, add a loop cut here and there to have a better resolution. This will allow you to perfectly correct your shape. Now, the cursor to the center of the element, cursor to selected. Go to edit mode, work from the 3D cursor, transform pivot point, readapt the scale and the position. Make a copy, Shift D, rotate 60 degrees. Make another copy, rotate again, and complete the flower. This was done in edit mode. We did not use the snap, so our flower is still flat. Now select the sphere and join it with the petals. Flower 001. Shift S, cursor to selected. We're going to add a lattice. Scale it the size of the flower. Scale it on the y-axis. Bring all the resolutions to 4. Flower in edit mode. Select the sphere, rotate it 90 degrees. Take the bottom, scale it on the y-axis like this. Now add a lattice modifier on the flower. The lattice is the lattice we've just made. Select the lattice, go to edit mode on the lattice, select the bottom vertices, and we can now bend the flower as we see fit. And from the front view, I'm also going to slightly bend the flower. Exit edit mode. Now select the flower, add an array modifier, and repeat the empty umbrella maker process. In edit mode, I can scale my flower as needed, adapt the rotation of the flower. If you move the flower, don't forget to move the lattice with the flower, and then reapply the location on the flower like this. Save and be happy. Now let's go to front view. At the top of the sphere, add mesh plane. Go to edit mode. Let's follow the sphere and create this shape. Now add a screw modifier on the z-axis, steps 40, then add a bevel modifier and a subdivision surface modifier, level 3. Apply the gold material. Zoom in closer, readapt your shape so it properly touches the next level. Now select all the elements from the umbrella, move them on the z-axis. Obviously the arrays are going to be affected, but don't worry. Just put the umbrella according to the top hoop. Now here, deselect the lattice before doing the next step. The next step, we're going to apply the location control A, pressing the Alt key on location in the menu. This will reset the location for all the objects. Avoid resetting the location of the lattice so the lattice modifier doesn't fail. Save and be happy. Now here we're going to add small gold spheres. Turn the snap on, go at 0 on the x-axis. Call this sphere top decoration 001. Make a copy, Shift D, add a mirror modifier on the x-axis based on the first sphere. Keep making copies and working with the mirror. Once you're done, convert the spheres to mesh and join them. Apply all transforms, make a link copy, and find the proper rotation on the z-axis. Repeat as needed. Obviously, take your time to test different patterns and keep adding details to your design. Save and be happy. Now copy the top plate from view, go to edit mode, erase everything, and come to follow the sphere at the bottom. Here we're going to add a small double border. Obviously, don't forget to add a decoration. This decoration is made with a Bezel curve with an array modifier. Now we want to add pearls. We need to hang them and we're going to need small hoops. Front view, take the top hoop, make a copy, bring it in place right here, and make the umbrella maker process again with the count and angle that suits your design. Save and be happy. Now add a mesh sphere, 60 segments, 30 rings, size 4 millimeters. From the hoop, that's only the array. Don't forget to apply all the transformations. Now the pearls don't even fit. Go to edit mode and scale. I'm going to go at 75% to have a 3 millimeters pearl. Now let's go to shading and create the pearl material. For the pearl material, we are going to have a metallic at 0.8, roughness at 0.25. Here we're going to add a Voronoi texture, distance to the normal, add a bump vector, the Voronoi to the height. You can set the Voronoi to smooth F1, and now it's time to tweak the scale and the strength of the bump. Then also, you might want to readjust the roughness. Now, if you want the pearls to have a much nicer shine, set the alpha at 0.95, set the transmission to 1, the IOR at 1.75, then bring an RGB, HSV, and ambient occlusion node. The distance for the occlusion, keep it low so the pearls don't become too dark. With the RGB and the HSV, you can give a nice color tint to your pearls. Save and be happy, and go back to layout. Go to front view, add a curve, Bezel curve. Set the resolution to 45, bevel round, give a depth of 0.3, resolution 21, fill caps. Set the material to gold. Go to edit mode, delete the vertices and start from scratch. Control, left click. We can start extruding. We're going to make the wire to hang the pearl. Sometimes I'm going to extrude. Keep designing the wire just as you would be bending the metal in real life. Give 2 turns to the wire and finish at the back as you normally would. Exit edit mode. Now for the wires, to Control A, or transform, copy the modifier from the hoop. Now select the pearl, go to edit mode, copy the pearl on the z-axis, make it a small ending sphere, add a material, set it to gold, and apply it to this little gold sphere. Exit edit mode. If you hide the pearls, obviously the wire is going through the pearl. Now we can select the support sphere and hide it. Now I'm going to take the wire and the pearl and make a copy. I'm going to remove the modifiers and I'm going to hang the pearls from the part we've designed at the beginning of this tutorial. Now we're going to add a mirror modifier based on the central gem. Don't forget to copy the mirror to the wire. Don't forget to move these elements to the corresponding collection. Copy the pearl, zoom in to check the position. If necessary, slightly rotate the pearl. All the pearls are in place. Save and be happy. Now it's important to bring the reference drawing on the screen because we need to remember that these earrings have several levels. And obviously I still have to model the other levels and a type of hoop to wear the earrings. Now to do all that, I'm going to use exactly all the same techniques I've already explained in this tutorial. So I'm going to get to work, and so are you, to complete these magnificent earrings from India. Let's get to work. And this is how you design and 3D model traditional Jhumkas earrings from India, from top to bottom. Now let's prepare a simple render to complete this tutorial. Save and be happy. First, I'm going to set the position of the camera right in between the position of the earrings. I'm going to use a vertical resolution, 200%. Let's make a 4K render. Now I'm going to add a point light in front of the earrings. Power 8500, strength 320, radius 3. I'm going to copy the light and move it down to the right. I'm going to make it bigger and stronger. Render settings, samples 320. Denoiser, open image, accurate high, use the GPU, yes. Light path 256. Color management, sRGB, filmic, no specific look. These are the default settings. F12, time to relax and enjoy the render. This was a 3D jewelry modeling tutorial, traditional earrings from India. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for supporting my work. You can buy my assets on Superhive Blender Market or become a member of the channel to get 3D models and 3D scenes like this one. My name is Damien Rohrbach, the Jewelry Jedi. Be nice to the planet and to the animals. Have a nice day, take care, and see you soon.